About the author, Venerable Akarn Playan Panyapatipo was born on November 16, 1933, in the Wangsuchandra family, Sawang Dandin district, Sakon Nakhon province, northeast Thailand. When he was a child, he lived with his grandparents, until he was 11 years old, when he returned to help his parents run a shop in the village. When he was 18, he expressed his desire to study medicine, so he began assisting the local doctor, who was a member of his family. But then he put aside his plan to go to Bangkok to study as a doctor to obey his parents and stay home to help the family. Although from a young age he always wanted to lead a monastic life, it was not until 1959 that he became a monk at Wat Dat, Mekai. In Sakon Nakhon province, and 3 years later, he passed the first Dharma degree. After the summer retreat that year, he set out to find a master to learn the Dharma and met many famous Zen masters at that time in the northeast, the south and the north of Thailand, the most important being him. Akarn Luang Pu Bron Jirapuno, Akarn Luang Pu That Desaransi, Akarn Luang Pu Tur Akaladama, and finally Luang Pu Wayne Suchino. In Thai, the noun Akarn Ajan, Achan means teacher. Luang Pu is Venerable Monsignor, or monk, which implies the concept of both respect and affection. In the present, Akarn Playan is the abbot of Wat Aranya Vivek, in Mae Tang district, Chiang Mai province, northern Thailand. 000. Below is a Dharma session by Akarn Playan on basic meditation practice: the essential nature of samadhi meditation practice is learning to understand the mind. The mind knows and ponders, thinks about this and then jumps to that, focusing on different issues. Being negligent and indulging in illusions and ideas makes the mind always agitated, never stopping. Knowing, watching, and noting the thinking mind is called mindfulness, sati. Understanding the thinking mind is sampajana, clear and lucid understanding. We need to practice mindfulness, sati, and clear understanding, sampajana, sharp enough to keep track of the mind. If mindfulness is still weak, it will not be agile enough to keep up with the mind that is running from one end to the other very quickly, and therefore the practice of silence, samadhi, cannot progress well. We cannot concentrate on the chosen subject, cannot focus on the in-breath and out-breath. Instead, the mind continues to flow along its natural path, thoughts are left behind, forever running behind and unable to catch up. We try to bring it back. As soon as it got there, it escaped and jumped to the United States, and while watching, we saw that it had returned to Thailand, or to Germany. We can only chase after but cannot catch up because our thoughts are not yet fully developed and mature. Mindfulness cannot keep up with the mind. That is the root cause of the difficulties that practitioners encounter while cultivating quiet meditation, also called concentration meditation, or concentration meditation. For that reason, the main thing is to diligently cultivate mindfulness, sati. The practice aimed at developing mindfulness begins by being aware of the posture of the body in the present moment. Standing, know that you are standing. Go, lie down, or sit, always closely following the movement and posture of the body at that time. Bathing, eating, or going to bed, always be fully aware of what is happening. Uninterrupted awareness of the actions of the body brings mindfulness, sati, and clear awareness, sampajana, to the fore. Once mindfulness and awareness are mature, you will be aware of the change in posture right at the moment the action occurs. While working, washing clothes, washing dishes, reading or writing, sewing or embroidering, no matter what you are doing, you live in it, in the present, in action. Right while you're doing it, in the work you're doing. Don't let your mind wander, don't let your mind wander. That is the way to cultivate mindfulness in daily life. You will see that your thoughts become quicker and sharper, able to recognize and catch up with the ever-flowing mind. No matter where the mind goes, the thoughts will follow closely and promptly bring it back to the subject, also called a koan. As you become more skilled in your practice, you can successfully concentrate your mind on your in-breath and out-breath. Every time your mind wanders, you will be able to catch it and bring it back to your breath. Now that mindfulness, sati, is mature and sharp, you should bring your mind and its thinking direction to rest on your breath until you feel the flow of breath in and out. At the moment you actually feel the breath, the mind also exists with the breath. If you couldn't see the breath clearly, your mind would have gone somewhere else. Once you bring your mind back, you should be able to understand like that. Anyway, if you are no longer with the breath, your mind will wander aimlessly and no longer be aware. Those practitioners who can focus their mind on breathing with relative ease will find that their mind becomes calm and quiet. Along with the exhalation and inhalation, there is clear awareness of each exhale, inhale, heavy or light, long or short, one breath following another. Such a state of awareness indicates that the mind is with the breath. Should understand like this: if such a state of mental concentration only arises weakly and lasts for a short time, it is called temporary concentration, khanika samadhi, concentration, samadhi, temporarily, khanika, the mind wanders away, we pull it back, contemplating the breath again. Staying like that for a while, the breath seems to become more and more subtle, almost non-existent, you can no longer see your breath anywhere. At that time, some people are afraid of death. Where has my breath gone? I just saw it here immediately, and then they come out of meditation, out of the state of concentration, samadhi. They came out of meditation because they were afraid of death. Don't be afraid and give up like that. The breath is still there, just because it is extremely subtle, extremely delicate. No need to look for it anywhere else. Direct your mindfulness and awareness to the mind, and bring it back to the object. Contemplate and investigate, exactly, from what origin does the mind originate? Where do the thoughts of the mind arise? How is the feeling of satisfaction and happiness experienced at that time? Right at that moment you find your mind. Now, direct it towards your chest or some other point in your body. Place the feeling of pleasure that the mind is experiencing on that point and hold it there, with mindfulness and awareness, knowing clearly. Keep your mindfulness there, leave it where thinking arises. Doing so for a while will develop a state of profound stillness and deeper stability, gradually until the mind reaches close concentration. Upakara samadhi, upakara, is near, coming here. Some people can experience clear light, nimitta. But if nothing happens, don't be discouraged. Meditation practice has nothing to do with the desire to see any phenomenon. You should not make seals, wait for light or anything like that. Don't think about what might happen next. The stillness will develop on its own, and whatever happens will happen. You should not be vain and eager to see heaven or hell, because that kind of desire-like thinking will cause obstacles and block the path to tranquility. Those practitioners who have easily calmed their minds will certainly experience a state of comfort and joy as soon as their minds are calm and quiet. For the first time, you will realize for yourself what happiness and peace are like. The mind is free and at ease, quiet and satisfied. This state also includes the jhana factor, piti, although joy and happiness may manifest in different forms for each person. Your hair may stand up, or you experience a kind of cool, light feeling in your mind, or you may hear as if a layer of smooth cotton wool covers your body, or the body seems so light that it seems like it can float like a cloud. The Zen master cannot control similar types of experiences, called peace of mind and peace of mind. Why is the quiet mind so peaceful, that is, gentle and poetic? Because it has been liberated, it has broken all mental obstacles, nivarana, and has laid down all burdens. Please try to maintain and preserve this state of peace. Here I want to ignore and not mention the sounds that practitioners can hear when in this state. It sounded like a voice on the phone from a faraway country. It may seem like you actually hear and see conversations, near and far, that concern you. However, those sounds stop immediately when your mind settles deeper, or withdraws from those layers of silence. The mind at that time just happened to be on the right frequency. For that reason, you should not brag that you have celestial eyes or celestial ears. Some people may not like to experience similar images, but whatever happens depends on the nature of the abiding mind. When the practitioner lets the above impressions pass, and continues to practice mindfulness and clear understanding, the state of silence becomes deeper and deeper every hour. The physical body seems to gradually deform. No arms or legs, you feel like you have no arms or no body. Where have you gone? You hear your heart urging you to open your eyes and take a look, but then stop and don't pay any attention to it. Look closely at your mind, see where you have placed it and keep it there. An extraordinary type of happiness that is very prominent and flexible. That is the state of entering concentration, apana samadhi, total concentration, that is, the mind is firmly and firmly unshakable, a state of mind that is extremely peaceful, light, cool and poetic, having overcome all obstacles. Mental obstacles. No longer full or hungry, no longer desiring anything outside, just wanting to stay in this state of satisfaction that has never been experienced before, this spiritual happiness, which the practitioner achieves through concentration, repels from the mind all the things and desires of everyday mundane life. If the mind continues to progress to great and sublime happiness, letting go of everything and just living in it, then that is entering Zen, jhana. Meditation na. This state of tranquility is only slightly different from equanimity, upekkha. At this stage, questions about others arise for the practitioner. Is there anyone else with the same experience as me? How did they get there? This is the time when practitioners must be extremely careful to avoid falling into the trap of boasting about their knowledge. At this point, it is really easy to deviate from the right path. Therefore, we must be alert and always be ready to be vigilant in this matter. Many people get lost and become crazy, boasting to everyone, true happiness. Must practice. Practice like this. Like that. Please pay attention, understand clearly. And take precautions. Don't go from one end to the other to show off. At this stage you are not enlightened yet. Examine and remember each step you have taken to achieve this level of concentration, samadhi. When you sit down, you can repeat more easily and fluently. Concentrate on remembering how you strengthened your mindfulness and clear understanding, right from the start. How to set your mind. What has been developed and what has been abandoned. When the mind reaches a high level of concentration, how to keep the mind at that level for a long time. Every time you meditate, you will be able to deal with anything that interferes with your concentration. Those troubles and disturbances are the same as before and you also overcome them in the same way as before, to strengthen the state of calm again. People who have mastered the practice will practice appropriately in every situation, whether they are riding a car, a train or a plane, no matter where they sit or what country they are in. Once proficient in the practice, the practitioner can enter or exit meditation easily and quickly. The hindrances no longer cause obstacles. However, some people find it very difficult to gather their minds. No matter how hard you try, your mind keeps jumping from one direction to the other, aimlessly. Follow that wandering mind closely until it gets tired. It really cannot escape the state of distraction, because it is stuck in thoughts about money, cars, houses, or children, grandchildren and friends. As soon as the mind is entangled in such an object, mindfulness and clear understanding, sati and sampajana, must follow and catch it there. Immediately ask, why do we cling and hold tightly to? For example, this house. Are we sure it is mine? The answer will come back, maybe so, it's mine. At that time, mindfulness and wisdom intervene, probe and investigate. When I die, will it follow me? If we accept that it will not follow us. Then next, so, why do we always bother about it? The house has been firmly built, it will still be there and not run away. We must reprimand the mind and pull it back into discipline. Contemplating and reflecting like this makes the mind suddenly awake and obedient so that we can return to the subject of meditation, koan, staying with the breath. That is the method of using wisdom to develop the concentration of mind, samadhi, of people who find it very difficult to gather their minds. That means using the most sophisticated and effective means, adapted to the situation. Once the mind has returned to the subject, you must hold it there, tie it, not let it escape. However, sometimes the mind also deserves to be pampered and praised and rewarded. For example, sometimes when we are busy with something, we suddenly feel the urge to sit down and meditate. Try cultivating the same kind of intention by quickly organizing your work to follow it. Usually we cannot complete all the work in life. One thing after another, never fully completing it all. When your heart is ready to calm down, stop, sit back and keep your mind calm. It is precisely when the mind wants to calm down and faith becomes strong and enthusiastic that we can easily develop a state of stillness. Calmness and naturally put aside the busyness of daily life. A calm mind leads to unwavering happiness and no anxiety. It is a state of contentment. Just like we like the climate and scenery of a cave, a forest, or the shade of an ancient tree. When we sit down, a cool breeze gently blows by, making us feel refreshed and soon feel extremely comfortable. The state of mind that wants to meditate is worthy of praise and should be encouraged as such. At night, if your mind feels calm and comfortable, try to continue sitting until late at night. And if you hear the state of calm becoming more and more solid and profound, don't rush to stop meditating. We must cultivate that state of stillness to perfection. It will become more and more deeply quiet and more solid, layer by layer, deeper and deeper. Don't stop. This is the time when we will know to what extent our meditation practice has developed. Now that we have achieved a stage of progress, we can go on vacation. After bowing to the Buddha, we lie down and recall the quiet periods we have just experienced and rest with that thought. When you wake up, immediately remember the meditation topic and that level of silence. The Master himself, Akarn Playan, practices like that. At that time the mind will naturally gather and dwell more and more deeply, deeper than the level reached last night. With a state of steady and continuous development, and with a truly calm mind, there will be absolutely no dreams or dreams in sleep. When we wake up again, the mind immediately understands its task, and that is the state we call mindfulness and clear understanding. Mindfulness, sati, and clear understanding, sampajana, will be maintained there to support, look after and take care of the mind. You have understood how to train the mind. When you need to reprimand him, scold him. When it is necessary to discipline it, bring it in, and when it is necessary to support and maintain it, support it. And when it deserves praise, praise it and applaud it. Just like dealing with a stubborn, disobedient child. I held his hand and did not let go until he obeyed. When he knows how to listen to instructions, takes care of his studies and becomes obedient and gentle, we must praise and reward him. Our mind also seems like that. If we always use force to force it, it will resist. So we must be gentle, coax and advise. Because of its stubborn nature, it may refuse to study, refuse to work, and become weak and lazy. But if we gently encourage and coax him, he will work diligently all day long. Our employees must be treated the same way. People who help us trade, take care of our goods, and welcome customers so that our business and commerce can prosper, should not harshly mistreat or cause difficulties for them. They also need our care and attention, and need our gentle and courteous treatment. However, when they make mistakes, we must point them out to correct them. Rough and rude actions will push them away, leaving you to work alone to make a living. Children are quiet and do not make noise thanks to their wise and skillful parents. It's not just scolding, and punishment that makes your child constantly afraid, always mentally stressed, and unable to study hard. A calm mind also needs to be carefully watched and corrected by mindfulness and wisdom. Chanting with wisdom, that is the ingredient to use, as much as possible. Neem also watches his words. Pollution comes in many forms, and we need to be vigilant and know what we are talking about. Is it beneficial to speak carefully? Is it worth our effort? For example, are the words of the Master, Akarn Playan, in the present of any benefit to anyone? Does it bring happiness, makes anyone happy, and is it worth mentioning? Preaching without mindfulness and wisdom, watching over your words must be erroneous and erroneous. In the beginning, we all made mistakes. So, first, you must recognize your mistakes, and then correct them. After mentioning words, now comes thoughts. Be mindful, aware of unwholesome thinking when it arises. And if it is a good thought, the understanding is correct. Thinking in the wrong direction must be stopped. We must pull it back to the right path. The thought process needs to be carefully monitored and, if necessary, stopped. Let go, let the unwholesome thoughts pass. In every posture, walking, standing, lying down, sitting, focus on good karma, thoughts that create good karma. Of course there will be happiness. Once you have realized this correctly, the mind will diligently direct itself towards good karma. Cultivate virtue and store up blessings. You try to compare this with a completely physical phenomenon. Like we build roads, manufacture cars, planes, ships or silk fabrics, etc. If we are careful and wise in thinking ahead, the results will be positive, the products will be good, and business will be successful. Prosperous progress, same with the mind. Gentle thoughts will make the mind light, peaceful and happy. Harsh thoughts burn the heart and lead to suffering. If you make bad products, they won't sell. If you say bad things, soon there will be quarrels and disputes. Then suffering will certainly come because of anger, and hatred only brings deep sadness and disappointment. Practicing meditation every day will bring you peace and happiness because you are always aware of your physical and mental activities. Watch out, while walking, standing, lying down, sitting, eating, urinating, washing hands, whatever you are doing, note and know that you are doing it. Always practice meditation. Whether cooking or washing dishes, be aware of each action, which is meditation. A wise practitioner will be able to meditate at any time. That's what I advise you to do. Don't wait forever for the right day, the right time to act. Cultivate your practice. Whether you are reading this book or writing or embroidering or sewing or cutting your nails, always know what you are doing. Be alert and mindful, focus your mind on what is happening and stay there. But be careful to stay away from unwholesome things, because unwholesome thoughts will lead to suffering and sorrow. A person who is diligently awake, who always watches over his mind as above, is aware of his mind in every moment, except when sleeping, he is always quiet and peaceful. Our saints, Arya, and our high monks and Zen masters all practice like that. Their minds are always calm. They talk, but their minds are always in a state of calm and peace, always with memory, and aware of themselves. Their mindfulness and wisdom are always present to monitor the entire process of life, therefore, even while talking, the mind is still calm and quiet. Venerable venerables who died in a plane crash a few years ago are ready to leave. At that time, their minds were firmly settled, and ready to pass away, without the slightest fear. Wisdom is always sharp, profound, and always present to keep the mind calm in all circumstances. They are ready to leave this body behind at any time, always alert. Those who have never meditated and are not familiar with the practice of cultivating a calm mind, samadhi, will find it difficult to believe that things like the above can happen. If they never truly understand what their own mind is like, how can they be expected to believe? For them, no one can train the mind, because the mind is always changing. When the mind clings to suffering, we suffer and suffer. When the mind grasps happiness, we rejoice and delight. But for the great Zen masters, whether happy or miserable, the mind lets go of everything. Therefore, they are always quiet and peaceful. If the mind is in a state of tranquility, samadhi, then we are meditating all the time. I contemplated this and truly realized that the Master's teachings were truly profound, extremely subtle and magical. It is clear that the completely pure state of mind of the high monks has practiced the Dharma to an absolutely profound level, permeating the physical body, permeating the bones and marrow. Why did the bones of Venerable Akarn Mun, after cremation, become clear as crystal relics? The state of purity not only affects the mind, but also affects the bones. Bones are bones, but there's something more here. Does it have anything to do with nirvana? It is truly profound. Truly magical. Buddhism is extremely profound. Other religions are each noble in their own ways. Whoever wants to follow any religion is his or her own business, we can't say anything. We should know the different qualities, parasinuta, of each sect so that we can go from one group to another, in different countries, without arguing or having disagreements with anyone. Anyone, about any issue.
Thank you for spending your valuable time on my channel journey to enlightenment. Wishing you a very peaceful and happy day. Don't forget to click like and subscribe to my support channel. See you in the next video.